Welcome to Warblog with new improved sound. I say that because my last video I had the sound off because I switched the sound off so I could record this thing, and then I forgot to switch it back on. But we're going to look at this capture of al-Asabaa, Libya. It's a difficult one really because all I can get is that they've captured it, but it doesn't really say from where. There's no sort of map showing where. It just says they approach from different directions, and if you look at the sort of the thing, which I'm not going to look at now, I think it's called Live Map or Live UA Map or something. They say they surrounded it, but that doesn't really show where they come from. The only thing I know is that to the west over here there's a big LNA area that's yet to be taken, but it doesn't seem that they're surrounding that, although they have it surrounded. It seems that this is the order of the day, this al-Asabaa, even though this place here, Guyane, seems much bigger. I'm always so tired. I can't believe it. I thought because it's not actually even past midnight yet, I thought I might not be so tired. And, anyway, so the key is, from what I can gather, I mean, this is a news site, so that's a sort of blown up building, isn't it, really? Damage is seen following shelling at Tripoli's Mitka airport. Okay, that's the shelling on the 10th of May. But there's the article. But it doesn't say much. It says forces allied with Libya's government of national accord said on Thursday that they have wrestled another key town from the Libyan National Army of Khalifa Haftar. Now, the thing is, why? Okay, so Mohammed Gnono, spokesman for the Tripoli Allied Forces, announced in a statement posted on social media the fall of the town of al-Asabaa, about 50 kilometers south of Tripoli. So al-Asabaa is located on a key road that links Haftar's forces besieging Tripoli to Tarhuna, their main western stronghold and supply lines south of the capital. On Monday, the GNA of Fayez al-Sarraj seized al-Watiya airbase. Okay, so we've done that. Now, the LNA spokesman, Ahmed al-Mismari, reiterated that there are 1,500 Turkish military personnel on Libyan soil fighting on behalf of the GNA. Now, I think that's key. Now, I haven't put them in, but I think that I said the other day that it's a matter of volume. I mean, 1,500. What's that? Like a regiment? That's not a lot. You know, so if that's enough to sway the balance, I think it's quite clear that they're working in a very different way. And I keep coming up against the same argument because, as I said, I've been going through some old newspapers from the 1950s, 1951, about the Korean War and shipping out loads of soldiers out there. And I mean, this would be one shipment. You know, I mean, this would be nothing. You know, they would have like 20,000 going out on a ship, or landing, or reinforcements, especially the North Koreans. I mean, they had hundreds of thousands, over 100,000 troops, and you know, they're going through them at a hell of a rate. And so, if 1,500 is enough to sway the balance, which I think is what it's doing, it's significant as to sort of how things are working. Because if you cast your mind back to the Second World War, for example, and how they waged war there was just massive blocks of troops, and although it was mobile warfare, it was still sort of, well, you know, they would force their way through areas. I mean, it says here that, you know, al-Asabaa is 50 kilometers. Well, that's, what's that, about 45 miles? That's nothing. I mean, you can do that. You can drive that in an hour easily. And so it's the sort of thing that if you actually had a high concentration of troops, you could just bulldoze your way through by force. That's what military units do. They use force. It looks as though they're trying to tickle each other into submission by sort of like using AK-47s as indirect area fire on both sides, and they're not getting anywhere. And you sort of think, well, why? Why are they not doing that? Well, either side doesn't have the sort of the massive manpower to do those sorts of assaults. And secondly, I think it comes down to lethality. Because if you ever got a concentration of 1,500 troops, say, in a, I don't know, a half a kilometre front for an assault, they would probably be wiped out by something. Now, possibly, the thing is that neither side really has anything. I mean, I'm sort of thinking Grad missile systems, but it's not as though they could deploy them. I mean, you go back to sort of the military capability and the might of the Weimar Republic. I don't know why I called it that. I called it, the Nazis, or the Germans in the Second World War. When the Allies landed at D-Day, they were able to sort of pull back quite a few Panzer corps in to defend. They had massive capability that was effective and significant along the front line that could be used in support and in conjunction with other units. And the Allies fought through those through, blood and sweat with, obviously bombings, artillery, paratroop drops, cutting off lines of supply, but also, full frontal assaults. And that's what we're not seeing here, really, I think. And I think that, I don't want to dwell too much on that, but I just think that the key difference, the build-up, what I'm trying to get to is the key difference in this war now is that they've got these massive numbers of reinforcements, and that's what's doing it. Plus, and I'm not going to bother to read any more of that because I want to get onto the game. I realise I've dawdled so much. But plus, drones. They've been just hitting them with drones. I mean, they took out the airport mainly by hammering them with drones, and all these are sort of Turkish or source drones. I don't know how effective they're going to be because I've reduced the capability of drones, making aircraft more powerful. But so basically, we've got all these troops, so they have numerical superiority, but I haven't given them that much numerical superiority, mainly because I've given it a sort of a special balance of things. Hopefully, the drones will be the key factor in allowing them to win. They've got more units, but not too many more units, but they're mobile, and these are not mobile. They're only 113, and these are 116. But they've got the drones, so we'll see how effective the drones are and superior numbers. But in theory, we should be able to take them out. Now, it might look like a long list, but in comparison to, say, some of the other games, it's not a long list at all. There's not a lot of troops on either side. And so, let's see how it pans out. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm looking for the play button, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, so we got drones. So obviously, now the thing is, just to reiterate, I think I sort of hinted, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know anything about whether they were just coming from this side and this side. They say they hit them on multiple axes, so this is everywhere, and they were surrounding it at one point. So, and I've just plonked these things in there. So, for example, you could just plow straight through here. But I think, generally speaking, to play in the spirit of things, you sort of possibly need to, focus on that. So, well, there's a force there, so we've got to focus on that. So, we can maybe take that out, use that to block there, use him to block there, use them to sort of come down here and then to force down this way to come up with a strategy that you're actually dealing with these things and not just running past them. Because although we don't have supply lines and lines of command or anything like that, we should play like we do. I'm sure that they don't have naps. Naps. GNA nap. Anyway, okay, so the bottom line is I don't know exactly what sort of strategy to play. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to play in the spirit of things where I have to contain everything. But I'm just going to play freeform without a decisive strategy. So I'm going to see what I can do. So, for example, this one has a lot more leeway. I mean, you can send a couple of units this way, perhaps, but then quite a lot this way to take up that. That. Yes, I drew a funny face. Okay. Now, the thing to bear in mind is that they're all dug in where they are, so they're all going to be hard to shift in the first instance, but once they're done, they're done. But the thing is, it's one of these games, as I said, it's finely balanced in a sort of rather brutal sense, in that it's finely balanced, and you have to be brave to have less than more. And my point is, they're all irregulars. There's nothing else on this table other than irregulars, so these can really hit these, and these can really hit these. So I call this duck warfare. If you look at ducks and swans and things like that, and pigeons even, they'll just chase another bird, and when they chase them, the other bird just runs away. They don't stand and fight, and then this bird will sort of hang around, and then this bird might think, oh bloody hell, and he'll just chase after this one, and this one will run away. They don't behave like human beings when they sort of say, well, my God, I don't think they have much sense. And it's an issue that intrigues me really when it comes down to, say, things like children, because when you look at them, they couldn't punch each other to save their lives because they're too weak. But when you're a child, I think it's actually, you're well aware of who is stronger and who is weaker, and were afraid of people. But when you look at them, they're all the same size, and it's like pigeons. Do pigeons really sort of have a sense for which one is bigger than the other? I mean, you might have a healthy pigeon, and maybe the subtleties are significant enough to them. They all look the same, and they all look about the same size. But so it's all about sort of, they can basically chase each other off. So when they come to attack, they've got the upper hand because they'll be able to chase these guys off. But when it comes down to the other turn, they'll be able to do the same back. So these are not invulnerable. So you've got to bear that in mind. You've got to think it's a bit like snooker. You might be playing for a good shot, but you want your position to land in a safe. You want it to land in a safe place in case you can't make your next shot. Like a snooker or something like that. So, for example, I could send this guy straight into there and he'd probably win. Although he's dug in, he probably wouldn't in the first instance. But then he will just come straight out and punch him back. So that's what I'm getting to. But we've got the drones. So I think the first instance with the drones is to attack this. Why not? Let's see what damage we can do here and see what our drones can do. Well, that's significant. Now, I'm not going to use all of them because I don't like to sort of. I feel that's a very gamey thing. We've done enough there. We've done some damage. They've been damaged. Yep, damage 1, damage 1, damage 0.65, etc. So I'm going to try and take this unit out with this and maybe one other. So let's have some drones against that. Only one. Okay, 0.3. It's damage. I also want to take this unit out. I think I'm just playing by ear because I'm tired as ever. I thought, oh, it's early, I won't be tired, but I think it's just something, I'm suddenly tired. But that's one of the things I like about this game. You can play it when you're tired. You don't have to, you know. I like it because you can be pretty rubbish at what you're doing because you're doing it by yourself. No one's so rubbish. Most people don't have the mental agility to see deeper beyond the strategy that I'm playing. I think you'd have to be a player to be able to do that. There aren't many. So did I fire at that? Yeah. Did I? I can't remember what I did now. I think I went for him because he's at 0. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have a number next to him. Okay. Can we get one of these guys on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is going to be quicker this way. Right, so this should be a win. Yeah. Now we're probably better off to keep units in stacks of 2. We've got him on the run now. So we've got the option to not fight or to try and chase him. But they are only 113, so their mobility is not that great. So I'm going to chase him. Yep, see, once they're out of their entrenchments, they become weak. So he's now 6.3. Right, so I really want to take him out. We should be able to do it with 2 again. Ooh. Now, there's a difference there, and I know why. And yeah, I will just cover that. He's in a town. So he got doubled because he's in a town. There are regulars in the town, sorry. And so there would have been something or other. I can never remember what the rules say. But fortunately, they're not actually that difficult to use. So in a village, the defense is ×2. But that's on top of whatever they get. So villages themselves give you a 10% bonus. So they would have been, and they were dug in. I don't even know where that would be. Entrenched. So ×2 multiplier. So they would have been, because they're in a village, ordinarily, what did we say that was? Okay, I think it was like 0.2% more, whatever. So that would have been 1.2. Because they're irregulars, that would have been 2.4, and because they're actually dug in, that would be 4.8. What did we actually get? There were 8s. Double to 2. Double to 2 because they're irregulars in a village. would have put them at 2. Because they're dug in, because they're entrenched, that's doubled to 2. So that would have been 4. And then they've got the fact that they're just in a village, which is not the irregular bonus, it's the normal bonus. Times 2 for entrenchments. Oh, oh, no, I've got it. It's a town. I knew it was something. It's a town because this is what I was saying. It seems as though this would have been a more interesting battle than this place because it's actually a town. You can see these are villages. This is the only town. So there would have been times 4. So it's times 2 because they're irregulars, because they're entrenched, and it's times 4 because they're irregulars in a town. Irregulars in a town times 4, 8, which is what we got. So that was actually difficult, and it should have been difficult, but I can never remember these things. So we've got 2 more units. So this place is going to be difficult to deal with. Now, do I want to try another 1-to-1? Well, I'm feeling as though I need to do something. 2-to-1 and then exchange. Wait, what are the odds then? It still had 8. Presumably it was rounding up or something. So, a tough battle. And that's one of the things I like about the villages and towns. And I did actually consciously put, like, I mean, they're on the map, but there's more villages over in this area. There's only 2 over here, and there's nothing along there. So, but the thing is, you can hop from village to village and go for the bonus, especially for your irregulars. So that sort of works. But I didn't realise it because, I can never remember these things. So that's going to be tough. So maybe a lot of drones on there next turn. Okay, so what do we want to do with these? Well, I think what I want to do is put 2 here and 2 there for this. So now that's not a village, is it? Let's just check. No. So this is what I thought that other battle was. So we'll see what we end up with. Yeah, 5-to-1. That's what I was expecting on the other one, not a 1-to-1. Okay, well we can now afford to punch him out. Yep. But we don't want to sort of let him slide out into the real world. Well, we can probably mop him up with these guys. Eliminated. Yep. And let's see if we can eliminate this guy. No, just the DR. Now the thing is, I sort of want to commit to this central area, but I don't have enough movement to go any further in that direction. But what about him? He can't move anywhere. He can get somewhere, but not very fast. So let's go in at low odds here. Probably a 2-to-1, I think, in the exchange. So the battle is afoot. Two against that, I think. Oh, their villages, look. So let's put in 3. Right. We can't really get back down here. These are going to be tight odds, but 2-to-1 possibly. An exchange. Okay. Well, that's everything, isn't it? So we've maintained our integrity in that we've done what we can to sort of force these lines back. I mean, he's a bit open, but they're sort of going like that. You could almost say that there's a line of force there. There, we've got a line of force approaching there, and obviously there. So obviously this is a bit uncontested. Now the question is, what does the LNA want to do? Now obviously there's lots of scope for counter-attacking, but the problem with counter-attacking is it means that the units are going to be exposed once their turn's over. It's that pigeon syndrome that I was mentioning, and they will be able to chase most of these units off, but if they do, they will be stuck. Now the only drawback on that is we can't run away particularly fast. We're going to get hit next turn. All we can really do is move a couple of spaces. You know, they're not mobile. So how will that actually work? Now there are a few units that have been. There's also this as well. Now we don't really want to leave this sat there like that to take in lots of this drone attrition that it's receiving. But running away isn't necessarily going to be that profitable. See, I think the question is: do we counterattack? Do we hold a defensive position, which is there's not much to be said for that, or do we flee and try and form denser lines around whatever this place is, al-Asabaa? I think we need to hold the villages. So there's a village there. We need to hold that. Possibly move back into that. We can fall back from here if required. Hold here. Hold here. Fall back from here if required. Okay. You see, he is going to get beaten up next turn, and he's on one. They should both be. I thought they got exchanges. Yeah. Oh, I think they just managed to get there, but they couldn't fight. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I think we need to attack. So we could possibly get 2 attacks in here. Once against that, and this will be a 5-1 in theory. Yep. So we push them back. And been able to push him back. And we can do the same here, but maybe not with such great odds. But you know, we're giving them the sort of, I think attack is going to be the best defense. DE. And I think we can give it a go here. 2-1 maybe. 1-1 and a DR. Okay. Well, let's just go for it. Another DR. Yeah, I'm much happier with this line of defense. And we're really repelling them. So, in light of that, it might be worth sending these guys forward. Like this. Bit of luck. Bit of luck. 2 to 1. No. Okay, he'll stay there. So he come down here. He will go this way. I guess he will go this way. He's not in a town, so pushed him back. And let's go for him. 2 to 1, won't it? So have an exchange. Now that's a town, so we'll hold there. But this is a DR. So that's everything really. There's these 2 places which I think we'll hold. We'll keep it as a central reserve. That's really interesting. Because they do have a punch and it's a battle. They've hurt the GNA there, 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 there. They lost a few battles, or there were exchanges, but so we definitely want to somehow get them out of that town. That is, so we use 50% into the town. Half strength. So that wasn't very good. Let's get the defense. Pull them out. Okay, we'll come back to that. Air power, what else do we want with air power? Well, I think there. Let's use 2 against that. And 1 on whatever this place is here. Okay. DE, 3 to 1 DE. So we're slowly knocking them out of these towns. So these are routed. Well, we know we're going to get 7 to 1 with 2 in theory. Yep, so we don't need to use too many units on that. Hmm. Ooh, he's in a town as well. DR. Hmm. Right. Now these are difficult units because they've been hit. Oh, we beat him out last time. And this time we're a little closer. I think we can finish him off. To be quite honest, I think one of the things that's actually making a bit of a difference, more than the difference than I appreciated in the beginning, was the fact they're mobile. And the mobility isn't just about mobility, they can attack more than once. And the GNA forces the LNA forces were attacking more than once when they're stationary. But these can sort of move, attack if they're lucky. So that's another part of it. Yep. Exchange. Exchange. So a real hard slog, but it seems to be going quite well until we get the exchanges. Could be an interesting position here. Or DR. Because we've only got one unit on the road, but how far can we get this up the road? Look at that. Well, that seems to be it. So we've made a breakthrough there. Let's have a look at the map. I'm not going to do another turn. I'm suddenly become really tired. I thought I had plenty of energy. Because we've really broken through here. So much so that we're up against al-Asabaa, whatever it is. You know, I mean, I'm not going to win, but there isn't actually that much. Just, we could take them out next turn. So now they've got to really start considering pulling all this other stuff back. You know, definitely in some way. Now, the only good thing is that they could possibly attack these units and push them back. So maybe last turn we should have fallen back as well. But I'm not going to do any more. I'll leave it at that. And I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.